show that tackles the big issues affecting the BVI and the rest of the Caribbean. Searches for answers to today's big questions and gives viewers a unique perspective on developing stories. Follow the big story with me, Kathy Richards, only on GTV. This show is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Cyril B. Ramney Tertola Pier Park, HOV Medical, and Digicel. Sign up for Digicel Plus Home Light bundles, faster internet, movies, and sports.
Look at you.
But we didn't have ball. When I grew up, we didn't have no ball. We had stones. So we had to do this.
I had ball.
Jacks this way, not very familiar to the generation of today. Sunday, March 23, 2025, lots on their plates to execute yet another Virgin Gorda Easter Festival. But let's call this a mental break, catching up with their honoree for this year to share memories.
Every time you have to go from 1 to 7 and come around.
Right.
And then you have to throw the water over your head. And when you get a box, you mark it so the other person can go to that box. So the whole thing is you try to get 3 boxes in a row. And then the person have to jump over the 3 boxes. Otherwise you're out.
I had my moments with him too. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, good morning, whenever it is that you are tuned in here with us on the JTV Channel 55. I am here on the beautiful island of Virgin Gorda. And if you don't know this man and you live in these Virgin Islands, then something is wrong. This is Mr. Burton Cricky. How are you?
I am wonderful. It's a beautiful day, so I'm feeling great.
And you look fabulous.
Well, thank you, Kathy.
This year, you are the honoree for Virgin Gorda Easter Festival 2025. When you got the news, what did you do?
Well, I was shocked. I was surprised. But then when it sank in, I said, well, you have to be doing something good for I to be chosen as the honoree for 2025. And I have the support of my family. And right now, the sky's the limit.
You're super, super excited. And just before we got on set, I was like, I know I see him and I see him with Leon and the hot shots. Always there behind, very smooth thing looking. But then I learned as well that you are not just that figure in the community. You have been very integrally involved in Easter festivals over so many years ago.
Well, Kathy, not only Easter Festival, actually, I was one of the co-founders of basketball in Virgin Gorda. I actually was the president of the Virgin Gorda Basketball Association, which is a non-profit organization, for over 7 years. And I mean, it was hard work, but I am the type of person that anything I want to do, I give it my all. And then I was the vice president for the Virgin Gorda Festival committee for over 3.5 years. And I did a lot of other community stuff where the North Song School, which I attended, they don't have a tennis court, but I'm a tennis player. So they have a concrete yard. And I went to Little Ixby and I said, I need a tennis net. So we run the net across the concrete slab, and I used to teach the children tennis for over a year. I did that. That's why I have bad knees today.
So if you have to get kneecap replacements, you know who to go to for your sponsorship.
There you go. And I am also a fisherman. So I went to a few schools, fishing and the type of fishing, and we used to fish for something called jacks, which comes in a really, really big school. So one of the schools, which is a private school, which is Siboney School, they called me one day and said, if you can come to the school and do like an exhibition of how it's done. So I grabbed a piece of net and I went to the school and I did, I showed the kids how we catch jacks. It's very different from regular fishing. Or if you go there with a fish trap or you go there with a line, it's not like that. The jacks are way out and you have to have guys in the mountain with a flag and they're giving us signals as to what to do.
Oh.
And you want to make sure the jacks the beat normally so much that they're all in a black circle. But you have to make sure that black circle is moving because there's lots of black circles out there.
Clouds and everything. Yeah.
So you get the sign from them and you have to set this net wrong the school of jacks, and then you have to pull them to the shore. So what we had planned to do is the guy who was in charge, a guy by the name of Terrence Stephen, he was getting up in age and his daughter wanted us to do something where we can invite the school children and make it a big something, because that was going to be his last, going out.
Nice farewell kind of thing.
Right,
for him.
exactly. And have the media there and stuff and say, this is how we catch jacks. But it didn't happen.
Aww.
Unfortunately, he sold the net unknown to us.
I am thinking that you were going to tell me, he ended up leaving the territory or...
No. Well, he passed away. He passed on now, but he sold the net and we didn't know. And right now, there's nobody in Virgin Gorda that has a net. So when there's jacks, people either come from Anegada or they come from Tortola and catch the jacks, which is not good.
Ooh.
But
what we can do about that?
Well, apparently people tell me you could get a net from maybe one of the Eastern Caribbean islands. I don't have the contacts or anything, but I myself was getting up in age, so I don't know if I want to continue either.
We got so many of the young ones who the trade is now being passed on to, that you probably still got a little gusto left in you that you could share that skill.
I don't think the young men, I don't know what to think about them, because they don't have any interest in those kind of things. I mean, at my age, I have a backyard garden. Yesterday, my family called me and said they need bananas, and I was able to go to my garden and cut a bunch of bananas.
When we finish here, we go in. We gotta visit your backyard. So these are things that you are very passionate about.
Absolutely.
Fishing and those kind of things.
Correct.
So this is a very big call out to you, the community. There is need for a net, because we don't. He's not going to sell it. We need that skill to be passed on. We need it. It's a part of the culture. When you hear of Virgin Gorda, the waters that surround you, you do some of the best fishing. So I'm told. So I'm hoping to hear that somebody, when they come up at the Easter Festival, at the opening night, somebody come here. We have a gift for you, a check for X amount of dollars to get that fishing net, right?
There you go.
That's a call.
There you go.
All right. Well, let's go back to Virgin Gorda Easter Festival back in the days.
Okay.
Your best memories of then?
Well, my best memories as a boy, my father and my uncle used to have a booth. So I would get the opportunity to come, but I had to be around to help them either carry out the garbage or do little chores around the booth to help them. That's the only way I would get to come to festival. My parents was very, very strict. I mean, I was kind of maybe 15 years and I couldn't go out. I would see younger boys out to different functions and stuff. I kind of grew up in the church, actually. Every Sunday I had to go to Sunday school and that kind of stuff. So I didn't really get out there until I was probably 17. I know one time they normally do carols, singing up at North Song. That used to be a big thing at Christmas Eve night. And I would cry, I want to go carol singing, and my mother said, "You're not going anywhere.
Because you're not of age to leave our house."
Exactly.
Oh, you're no man.
I live in the house. So I kind of grew up in the church, which is a good thing, and I think that helped to mold me into the person that I am today. You know, I still go to church, and I still do church chores. If they have anything to do around the church, I'm more than happy. I have a little pickup truck. If they need a truck service, I do it, you know, so I'm blessed.
You are blessed. And you think that's the dying tradition where parents are not making it compulsory that kids go to church, whether it be Saturday, whether it be Sunday, whether it be Wednesday, whenever?
Well, I can't speak for all, but I know I would say the minority goes to church, not the majority.
Not the majority.
Right. That's
was in
absolutely
Gorda. Another thing for you to work, because I learned that one. You Virgin Guardians don't pronounce V as in Virgin Guardian, Warden Gorda. Honourable Ralph O'Neill taught me that one. He said, "Why you say?" He said, "If you want to live here, you gotta talk like we." He said, "Warren God." And I'm hearing the festival, and and I'm also reminded ever so often the conversation comes up as to Easter being a sacred period, and yet Virgin Gorda celebrates it in a frolicking kind of way, and there's always been that push to move it to celebrate another time. What's your thoughts about that? I know you would have experienced that kind of a challenge over the years.
Well, to be honest with you, I've been hearing that from the time I was a little boy, and that Easter is a holy time and Easter should not be held at that time. But I know many, as I said, I was in the festival committee for 3.5 years, and I know many meetings that I've been to, the talk would come up about changing it to wit or changing it to some other time, but for whatever reason, it still ain't happening.
You want it to happen or not to?
This is 2025.
You want it to or not to? Woohoo!
I'm 50-50. I'm 50-50.
If you are to go for the latter 50, meaning that you would want to see a change, what would be the reason?
Well, it would be the reason of the same thing that everybody talks about. It's a holy week, and it's a time period when you have church services, you go to church, and you know that kind of stuff. But to be honest with you, if it remained at this time,
so that's the other 50.
Right.
If it remains,
I'm good with it also.
Awesome. You a very smart man. They need to elect you for some office in government because you're really political. Very strategic with your answer. Neither here nor there when it comes to that. Once it happens, it happens. If it don't, you're comfortable with that.
Absolutely.
What would we want to say to the generation of today? We know that times have changed over the years. Back in the days, you had the transistor radio, then it come to a more modern radio, then it come to different things. So life has evolved over the year. But what are the things that you would want to say to people as we go through changes in life?
Well, I mean, especially the younger generation, what I would say to the parents is they need to pay keen attention to the young ones that's grown up. They have to watch what program they're watching on tennis. On TV.
You want to play some tennis?
They have to, every child, now you see 10 years old, they have a phone in their pocket. They have to limit them as to what they can watch on this telephone or what they can see on this telephone, because I mean, I kind of like to watch in the nights. That's what I do. I get on my phone and I'm saying all these kind of stuff, and I'm saying, I wonder if there's any kids out there that can see this. You know, so you as parents or young adults have to nurture the younger ones. We have to try to set examples so that they can follow. But the world is moving so fast now, you don't know what to do to get these kids to follow the trend of the olden days. I mean, the olden days which I grew up in, they don't know nothing. If you ask them what's a coal pit, they never heard that word before. I used to burn charcoal with my father, you know. So these kids grow up where when I have a program in a church, in the next morning, you know what I would do? I would go out there and see if anybody dropped a 5 cent or 10 cent and pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
You could, I'll walk someday, I go walk and I see quarts all about. In my days, if I got a quart, I feel like I'm rich, you know. But today, I give my grandson $2. He's looking at me, $2. You know, you got to give him 5 or you got to give him 10. You know, in my days, when your shoes mash up, you get a sail needle and you have to sew it. You ain't getting no more. You know, so the children of today, they got everything at their feet. You know, some of the parents have them spoiled because they give them everything they want. They don't know how they got it, but they have it. You know, they have everything to their... You know, so it's a completely different to when I was growing up.
Yeah.
A completely changing.
Yeah, but it's how we manage it, how we navigate around it to make sure that our kids stay around it.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't laugh about this one, right? But I got to ask him because they say it's a Guyanese kind of culture. How you get gold teeth?
You want to hear the real true story?
True and nothing but the truth.
I had this gold teeth now for over 50 years. And one Sunday morning, I was going to Sunday school and I fell and I break my front teeth. And I can remember it just like today because the following week, the King of England was visiting here in 1966. And my face was all swollen, and I cry and my mother said, I'm not going. When you hear about the king and those, that little boy, you want to think it's a really, you know. And my mother cried. I mean, I cry and my mother would not let me go. She said, I'm not going anywhere with your face
so
swollen like that. And that. So when I fell and I break my teeth, at my age, I wasn't going to get any more.
Okay.
So probably the girls wouldn't have liked me if they see me with no teeth, you know. So I had to get
a cap.
Yeah, there you go. So I had it now for 50 years, over 50 years.
Okay, you can't even tell that it was broken.
Really? Well, the one was broken, had to be taken.
Man, I just admiring how it's looking clean. It will be remiss for me to end this conversation and not talk about you and playing with Leon and the Hot Shots. Tell us about you getting involved in that and, you know, some of the memories surrounding that.
Well, Leon and the Hot Shots, they used to play right here. It had a bar here called the Rendezvous Bar. So they used to play every Sunday. So when I finished work, I would just come around. And then those guys, I have this thing where, I don't know, I like to be on a mic. Because I was the commentator for basketball all the years. So I would come around and those guys would see me and they would just come up to me and say, introduce the band. So I would just go up to them and introduce these guys and stuff. And then after that, one of the guys left, and Leon, who's my cousin, said, Barton, you know, you need to join the band. And he gave me some reason why, because things is getting so modern now. If somebody asks for an invoice, they want you to send it to them via email. They don't want no little bits of paper or anything anymore.
No scratch up on no paper.
The communication-wise, that's why I'm there. I deal with emails for the band. I deal with whatever, any kind of money. If I get a check, it comes in my name. I have to deposit it to the bank here, then withdraw it off of my account because it's on a different, if it's on a different bank, and Leon doesn't even want to go to a bank. So I'm there to kind of assist him and deal with it.
Trust you with your money?
I have been trusted by so many people you won't believe, man.
Why they call you Bass?
Huh?
Why they call you Bass? It's Bass or Brass or Brass?
Brass. B-R-A-S-S.
Brass.
Well, that name Brass come from Domino's.
Oh.
There's another guy, he died recently. He used to call him Gunny, but he also used to call him Brass. So we would go up there to play dominoes. And to get fun out of the dominoes, when you hit the domino really hard, I would say, I'm a Brass. And Gunny would say, well, I'm a Brass too. And the name just stick. It just come from dominoes. It has no really fundamental meaning that I know about. just from Domino's.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Y'all loving him, right? Y'all loving him, right? I am too. I'm so happy to see that Virgin Gorda seek to celebrate you in this way by making you the honoree this year. A sweet soul. I tell you, I stand up next to him and he says, like, if I were guys, my granddaddy or my daddy. Well, you could be my daddy. You my granddaddy.
That's for real?
Yeah. I want to give you the opportunity to say what it is that is, is laid on your heart to say to the people of these Virgin Islands and further fields that are listening to us now.
Well, first and foremost, I would just like to welcome, whether you're near and far, to come to Virgin Gorda this Easter. It's going to be great. There's lots of things in store. Right now, it's a secret because they're not telling us who they bring in. But I know I can't say anything. My daughter is in the committee. So I know it's going to be great, and we have lots in store for you. Leanne and a Hot Chat is going to be live Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And come over. There's other things to do also. You can go down to the bats, explore Virgin Gorda, get some good food on Easter Saturday. They're going to have a food fair. We're going to have the conchs. We're going to have the wilks. We're going to have the shellfish. We're going to have lots on the menu. And then Sunday, I guess, what they have Sunday?
Oh, the wet fed down at St. Thomas Bay, right?
So you can come in your little bikinis, especially the girls. I like to see girls when they're wearing bikini. I hope I don't get licks when I go home. Yeah, so come prepared, man. It's going to be great. So I want you to tell Paul, to tell Saul, to tell them all. It's all going to happen right here before the Easter weekend. So come on up and celebrate, man.
All right.
Tell a friend to tell a friend.
I got to give you a hug before we go. This one deserves a hug. This one deserves a... Thank you so much for tuning in here for this very special feature out here with a beautiful soul who's being celebrated this year for Easter Festival on Virgin Gorda 2025. I'm Kathy Richards, over and out.
Thank you, Kathy. It's a great pleasure.
Dion Tudman.
What's up, Tortola? The time has come again where I will be performing for you live and in concert on March 29th, 7:30 p.m. at the H. Lavity Stout Community College in the Eileen Parsons Auditorium. But I will not be alone. I'll be joined by some of your very own local artists.
Just like the first days.
March 29th, you are in for an unforgettable evening with Dion Tudman, joined by Javon Klein, Gabrielle Dene, and others. Tickets are just $50 for adults and $20 for children 12 years and under. Tickets available at JNC Trading and online at DionTmusic.com.
So come on out and show your support, and I look forward to seeing you all there for an amazing, amazing musical evening.
We know that where you choose to bank matters, and it is your vote on what your funds do in strengthening our community. As your official Bank of Paradise, we invest and support the lifeblood of our economy by helping in the realization of personal goals for homeownership, education, and entrepreneurial visions, which support small businesses. We make it our place to connect with persons and worthy causes, and we have been doing so for more than 30 years. Where your money goes and what your dollars empower are your choice. And we thank you for choosing us, a bank that gives where it matters the most, for you, for our community, and a happier tomorrow. The National Bank of the Virgin Islands.